The sun rises over the open ocean.
Legend has it that the Eastern Pacific was once frequented by pirates. But to be a successful pirate, you need a place to hide. And out here, the best place is Cocos Island.
A mountainous island is covered with bright green vegetation. Caption: Cocos Island, Eastern Pacific Ocean.
There's so many legends and myths of pirates and people coming here in the old days, and I can't imagine the excitement to see all of this and be like, what? There's this piece of land in the middle of the ocean?
A rocky cape.
Whether these tales are fact or fiction, Cocos does provide some refuge for species in the open ocean. Namely, migrating marine animals that gather here.
Dr. Alex Hearn, marine biologist.
Animals are not spread out evenly throughout the oceans. They tend to aggregate at particular locations where they can find food or refuge. And oceanic islands like Cocos is a classic example. Well, it just so happens that Cocos Island is the only emergent part of an underwater mountain range.
A computer graphic shows the island is the peak of a tall mountain. Sergio stands on the deck of a boat, looking at the coastline through binoculars.
What is it then about this mountain range that attracts these animals? So far, the best clue we have to that mystery is Cocos Island itself.
The outline is really ragged, eh?
Yeah, I was noticing the big boulders that are on top of
You can see how the whole island is of volcanic origin, right? You see the lava kind of shooting up and then it's eroding around it, but you can still see these lava chimneys like that one.
Yeah.
And then you wonder how trees got here, right?
Exactly. How does the sea travel so far?
What do you think?
Birds.
The birds.
That's right.
Okay, so Cocos is in fact the top of a volcano. Could there be a connection between this volcanic island and what lives in the waters around it?
Waves crash on the jagged shoreline. Later, Sergio and Dr. Worm stand on a crowded diving boat.
We're going ashore to search for treasure. Okay, maybe not the pirate kind, but we are hoping to find out what makes this place so rich with life.
They clamber up a forest hillside. Later, they examine the trunk of a tree.
Es increíble ver el montón de vida epifítica
Subtitles.
que tiene.
It's incredible the
Tiene
amount of
demasiados
different kinds of
epífitos,
life
vemos
that
aquí
are living here.
briófitos y
There's
líquenes
bryophytes
y-
and lichens.
Es
It's
increíble.
incredible.
It reminds me of the walls we see underwater. They're also covered in life. Every little bit has something clinging to it. It's the same on this tree.
They look up as a bird flaps its wings on an upper branch.
Whoa!
Dr. Worm holds out his arm.
That was close.
Yeah, I got pooped on.
There's more coming down.
Yep.
Yeah, greedy from above.
Action.
And you know, the amazing thing is this is essentially ground up and digested fish, right? And there's nutrients too, right? I mean, this is all bird poop, which essentially fertilizes the forest. So it cycles from the ocean to land and back into the ocean.
A towering waterfall plunges over a vine-covered cliffside.
This transfer of poop is one example of what's known as the nitrogen cycle. A bird eats a fish, the bird then poops, and the nitrogen from that poop helps fertilize the plants and trees on the island. Those decompose and wash into the ocean, providing nitrogen for plankton and algae, which then get eaten by fish, who then get eaten by birds, who then poop on Cocos Island. You get it, it's a cycle. And nitrogen is an essential element, like oxygen, for all living things, including us.
The dive boat tours along the coastline. Sergio perches on the boat ledge looking out over the waves.
But maybe that's not the only reason Cocos Island attracts so much life. To get a complete picture, we have to trade our hiking boots for flippers and head below the surface.
The divers pull on wetsuits, masks, and flippers. A guide helps Sergio drop backwards into the water.
1, 2, 3, vaya!
Dr. Worm and another diver drop in as well, holding their masks to their faces. Bubbles rise through the clear blue water below. The divers float, suspended. Fish school near the sea floor.
If you follow the slope of Cocos Island to the seafloor, it extends for nearly 3 kilometers. Imagine a wall 3 kilometers high. That's 30 times taller than the Statue of Liberty.
They swim along the steep wall.
When the conditions are right, currents collide with this wall, and it creates a phenomenon known as upwelling. That's when nutrient-rich water from the bottom mixes up with warm water from the surface. The end result? A hardy and healthy feeding ground for many marine species. This upwelling only happens around the few islands and seamounts scattered throughout the open ocean, which is one reason why Cocos is a perfect rest stop for a migrating animal after a long day, a week, or even months of traveling.
A shark swims through fish.
There may not be any pirates hiding out here anymore, but there are hundreds of species who still depend on all the island has to offer.
Migratory species in the marine environment often are subjected to a lot of different pressures and threats. It's important that wherever the people are, we coordinate if we want to reduce those threats.
A hammerhead shark glides through the azure depths.